After missing for 50 years, a Muncie statue has been found. Tonight on NewsLink Indiana, find out how this statue made its way back home.
Making landfall as Hurricane Florence approaches, we have the latest on the efforts for preparations.
Warm and dry temperatures are here to stay. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
From the heart of Ball State University, live from the Unified Media Newsroom, NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'm Emerson Lehman.
And I'm Wyndham Gant. A Muncie statue that has been missing for 50 years returned to Muncie last night.
NewsLink Indiana's Michelle Kaufman is live at the Delaware County Historical Society with the statue to tell us where it's been. Michelle.
Emerson, now for being 132 years old and traveling over 450 miles yesterday, I'd say Charles Willard looks pretty good. He's been missing from Muncie since the 1960s, but yesterday a crew helped bring him back home to Indiana.
No, nobody really knew where he was.
Thanks to the work of the Delaware County Historical Society, Charles Willard is back in his home city.
He was one of several people that had hunted for the statue over the years. I'm just the lucky one that finally found him. Finally tried Googling statues of Tennessee, and it took about an hour flipping through different statues because there's a lot of them in Tennessee, and finally found him that way.
He was found in the Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel courtyard, where he has been for at least a couple decades, although no one for sure knew who he was.
Whoever you were with at the Choo Choo at the time, the very first time you sort of experienced it, you know, someone always said, "Oh, and that's so-and-so." Like, so there's not one story or two stories here in Chattanooga about the statue. There's 1,000 stories on who he was.
We contacted the Chattanooga Choo Choo station and asked them about a guy with his hand on a tree stump, and they said, "Oh yeah, and Mr. I think it was James Wilson or something like that, James Andrews."
Cannon's company brought the statue to Muncie, something Good is grateful for.
Our pictures were only black and white ones from the newspaper, and it really didn't show very much detail, but the statue really is beautifully carved and has a lot of fine detail to it. It's one of the nicest statues I think I've ever seen.
Now, as for the cost of moving the statue from Tennessee back to Indiana, Tucker Build actually did it for free. They said they already had the equipment and the manpower, so it was a relatively easy job. Live from the Delaware County Historical Society, Michelle Kaufman, NewsLink, Indiana.
The Historical Society plans to continue to keep the statue somewhere on their property.
A Muncie man has been convicted of 11 felony charges stemming from an August 2016 incident. A Delaware County jury found 57-year-old Robert Walton guilty of multiple charges, including criminal confinement and battery with a deadly weapon. Walton has been facing these charges after holding 3 people hostage in a Muncie building and using a nail gun to pin down one of the hostages. Walton's co-defendant in the case is set to stand trial in January. He is accused of hitting one of the other hostages in the head with a shovel. A statewide silver alert has been declared for 24-year-old Jalen McEwen of Richmond.
A statewide silver alert has been declared for 24-year-old Jalen McEwen of Richmond. McEwen was last seen on August 15th. Police say he may require medical assistance and is believed to be in extreme danger. He was last seen wearing a beanie cap, sunglasses, black sweatshirt, jeans, black and white tennis shoes. If you have any information on his location, you are urged to contact the Richmond Police at the department at 765-983-7247. A 20-foot sinkhole in downtown Terre Haute will keep a busy intersection closed at least through next week. Take a look at this picture. The sinkhole is actually big enough to swallow a full-size car. Crews started the repair process today. The sinkhole resulted from a sewer leak, but did not collapse until a fire truck drove through the intersection on Wednesday. Construction is expected to congest traffic near U.S. Highways 150 and 41. Terre Haute City Engineer says the intersection could reopen by next week.
Hurricane Florence is threatening millions of Americans in the southeast, as FEMA warns this is a very dangerous storm. After it makes landfall, it's expected to slow down significantly and bring heavy amounts of rainfall. Steve Nans has the latest details.
Please hear my message. We cannot underestimate this storm.
Hurricane Florence is making its final approach to the Carolinas as the region braces for what is expected to be a catastrophic storm.
That rain kind of deteriorates your foundation and wash your house away.
Residents in Florence's path know what's coming, and many are heeding warnings from officials who want them to take precautions.
We've asked you to leave. If you don't, then please go shelter in place and stay safe.
Those who have found refuge at local shelters say they are prepared for the long haul.
As long as it takes, because we go back home and then it's very bad, then I'm going to say I wish I would have stayed here.
Wind speeds have decreased over the past several hours, but FEMA warns that several other dangers still remain.
Please do not let your guard down. The storm surge forecast associated with this storm has not changed. It has remained the same.
That storm surge, along with the expected slow-moving speed of Florence once it makes landfall, will lead to heavy wind and rain over the next several days.
It's going to be very hard for this water to evacuate, so you're going to see a tremendous amount of inland flooding.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper says his state could feel the brunt of it.
We're on the wrong side of this thing. This storm will bring destruction to North Carolina.
And in South Carolina, similar warnings from officials who say there is little they can do to help once the storm arrives. I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
NewsLink Indiana will continue coverage as the storm advances.
President Donald Trump was active on Twitter this morning addressing Puerto Rico's official death toll from Hurricane Maria. The Puerto Rican government raised its death toll from 64 to nearly 3,000. President Trump described the death toll count as a false claim made by Democrats. He says it was to make him look bad. Speaker Paul Ryan reacted today.
I'll just say what I just said, which is there is no reason to dispute these numbers. And it's a function of this was a devastating storm that hit an isolated island. And that's really no one's fault. That is just what happened.
The death toll change is based on new George Washington University research. And it was a little cooler this week, and then it got warmer again today. How are you feeling with this weather?
So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. The warm temperatures are nice, but I'm looking forward to those cooler fall temperatures.
Me too.
Liz, I hope you've got some good news for me.
I definitely do. We have been, just like you said, below and above average for this time of year. It just keeps going back and forth. Finally back on track for the season in mid-September. Currently, we're cooling down from the rest of the day at 71 degrees in Muncie. Clear skies dominating, and that's just going to be the story for the next couple of days. Radar quiet due to that area of high pressure that we're feeling over in the Midwest. Not going to allow for any precipitation or large clouds to end up occurring for us. But what we are tracking is Hurricane Florence. For the past couple of days, we see this outer band start to make their way onto the Carolinas. As it does, the main threats with this are the storm surge as it occurs. This is starting to weaken as it comes onto shore, but we will keep you up to date with the latest as this approaches.
The Senate Judiciary Committee has delayed the vote for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. The committee will move the vote to next Thursday. While thousands of written questions for the president's pick have politicians taking sides, Republicans are accusing Democrats of abusing the practice. Nearly 1,300 follow-up questions were submitted for the nominee. Democrats say Kavanaugh's answers on abortion, unpaid debts, and executive power are lacking. Senator Dianne Feinstein says she submitted information to the FBI from an individual concerned about Kavanaugh's nomination. Democratic senators are calling for further delay in the vote until that information can be given to the nominee.
A local laundromat makes plans to offer loads of opportunity. Find out how you can stop counting quarters.
And a recall has been made on a GM vehicle. We have got the full list coming up.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, she seems fine to me.
No more, not my problem.
No more, she was drunk.
No more, he was drunk.
No more, she was asking for it.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, why didn't she tell anyone? No more, we don't talk about that.
No more bystanding.
No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
A local laundromat is offering vouchers to the Muncie community, and the program's popularity has the company's owners seeking more funding. NewsLink Indiana's Ethan Gerald has the story.
Now's your chance to stop counting quarters. The White Spot Laundromat on 417 North Reserve Street has created a voucher program designed to provide free laundry for the community. Owner Brian Shreve got the idea when approached by hospitalist Ashley Hunter at IU Health Ball Memorial Hospital. The two of them wanted to see if they could create a voucher system for laundry, similar to the voucher system in place for food at local farmers markets. After careful planning, Ashley saw her dream become a reality.
Free laundry, which consists of two 20-pound machines, which are behind us, and dryers to accommodate those loads.
These vouchers can cover up to 2 full loads, washed and dried, as well as provide laundry essentials such as soap, fabric softener, bleach, and dryer sheets. All you need to do is bring in your voucher, dirty clothes, and that's it. The number of vouchers is limited. You can get them through the JAR Community Church here in Muncie.
The vouchers are mainly distributed through the JAR Community Church, and they're the ones that assess the need for that and distribute those.
Laundry vouchers have been a huge success since their introduction at the White Spot Laundromat. The laundromat plans to consistently provide useful and stress-free service for many loads to come. In Muncie, Ethan Gerald, NewsLink, Indiana.
For more information about the voucher program, check out this story on our website at ballstatedaily.com.
If you own a GM, there could be a problem with your vehicle. General Motors has issued a recall on 1 million trucks in the U.S. Recall due to a software bug that can cause the power steering to shut down unexpectedly. Models at risk include 2015 Chevrolet Silverado Tahoe and Suburbans, as well as GMC Sierra and Yukons. GM has announced they will fix the bug at no cost to owners. This is the second recall issued for this bug after GM pulled many of the same 2014 models last year. No date has been set for the recall to begin.
And Amazon is going big this Christmas. The online vendor will be selling full-size, real Christmas trees this winter. While they offered live trees last year, the trees available were under 3 feet. Larger trees were only available from third-party vendors. This year, the trees for sale will be from 2 to 7 feet tall. Some of the Christmas trees will even be eligible for 2-day prime shipping. A spokesman says they see it as another option for consumers to purchase real trees to make their holiday season special. And you said that the weather is going to remain pretty clear for the next couple of days. I'm pretty happy with that. How about you?
That's right, a lot of sunshine. Liz, it looks like it's here to stay for a little bit. What can you tell us coming up in weather?
Yeah, it is definitely. It's definitely warmed up today as to yesterday, but right now we're cooling down overnight. Temperatures only getting down to 63 degrees. We'll have the full forecast coming up.
For those who serve today and those who served before them, for those whose sacrifice will never end. The Gary Sinise Foundation shows its gratitude through entertainment, outreach, and life-changing support. We can never give enough, but we can always give a little more. Find out how you can donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Sometimes there's no do-over. Some things you can't rewind. That's when an extra safety step could mean the difference between a close call and a call to 911. Simple steps save lives. Learn more at poolsafely.gov.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. And Wyndham, you know, you were just talking about Christmas trees. It's hard to talk about Christmas when we've got all this warm weather here in Indiana.
That is very true, but I have to say that I'm looking forward to the cooler months.
Yes, I would
How soon
agree.
can we see some of that cooler weather?
Well, we have a cold front off to our west, but right now that's being stalled, so we aren't going to be seeing any of those effects right now. I know I hate to be the bearer of bad news for this, but as we start to get in through the rest of the week, we see this area of high pressure continuing with us, but right now in the tropics, tracking Hurricane Florence is what the main story we've been talking about for the past couple of days. The outer bands finally reaching land in the Carolinas. This right now is a Category 2 hurricane. It is starting to weaken as it approaches landfall, but still deadly and very disastrous. If you have any friends, family, or property investments there, definitely take those protective measures. Hurricane warnings are in effect for the coast throughout until Sunday. Currently in Muncie, though, much different story. Temperature is 71 degrees, very cool, clear night overnight tonight. We will see temperatures drop down to those lower 60s. Beautiful night to enjoy some free air conditioning, maybe keep those windows open throughout the night. As we get into tomorrow, very similar story to today. Temperatures sticking right around the same. As we wake up in the morning, 63 degrees, sunny, beautiful. As we get into the rest of the day around lunchtime, 76 degrees. 81 degrees as our high for tomorrow. Right around dinner time is when we're going to kick off with that. Over this weekend, Ball State versus IU in Bloomington. Temperatures expected to be right around 83 degrees. Beautiful sunny skies, maybe a little warmer in the stands, so be aware of that as that occurs. And then Sunday, very similar, just may see some extra sunshine as it approaches. For the rest of the week, big story is warm, dry, and beautiful. That weekend we'll see perfect football viewing weather, and then the first chance of precipitation could come in Monday and Tuesday. 30% chances, mostly just going to be seeing that in the morning. And then Wyndham, Emerson, a little bit of cooler weather on Wednesday, so hopefully that's as good as it gets for you guys.
That's what I was asking for, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can consider 78 degrees cooler weather, though.
It's cooler than the 80s
we were
right
getting
now.
teased this week with, it was like 60s. It was not, I was like, yes, I was loving it.
Wait a little bit. It's the average for this time of year. You can hold off.
Patience
Yeah.
is a
I like
virtue,
the
I
cooler
suppose.
weather.
Yeah.
I don't so much like the rain because I have a lot to do. I have to get out in it.
And cooler weather means football season.
Yes.
Yes.
And a big football weekend for the Ball State Cardinals with, they played Notre Dame very well last week, wish they would have beat them, and now they got in-state rival IU coming up.
That is right. And Andrew, what can you tell us about that?
Up next, Ball State football will be preparing for another matchup in the Hoosier State, like you mentioned, and also a former Cardinal basketball player has solidified her plans to play overseas, so you can find out more about that after the break.
Isn't this perfect?
It was my pleasure. May I?
Adam, I can't thank you enough for saving me from that sweepstakes scam. I could have lost everything.
It was a classic cat and mouse game. Remember, you never have to pay to play.
You're my hero. After all these years. What's the matter, Adam? Cat got your tongue?
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Andrew Sanders with sports. This Saturday, the Ball State football team travels to Bloomington to take on an undefeated Indiana University team. Now, while the Cardinals would have loved to play spoiler to Notre Dame last week, there are some positives to take away from the loss. NewsLink Indiana's Sam Sherman caught up with the team to see how preparations are going for the contest this weekend.
Last week, Ball State headed to South Bend to take on number 8 ranked Notre Dame. While the Cardinals didn't come away with a victory, redshirt junior linebacker Jacob White saw a silver lining in his team's performance.
Yeah, just that we can compete with anyone in the country. No one gave us a chance, and we don't care. The only people that need to believe are the people in this building, and that's what was displayed on Saturday.
According to head coach Mike New, even though his team's performance wasn't perfect, they hit the ground running the next day, beginning preparations for another in-state rival.
After the game was over, we came in Sunday morning and met. We watched the tape, and it's on to the next opponent, though. You know, we had to watch the tape. There's a lot to correct from the game, and we're still in that mindset that we've got a lot of things that we still need to improve on.
A big surprise last week was the Cardinals' defense. New and White credited the team's success to player mentality and preparation.
Guys have on the defensive side of the ball knowing that, man, we can be a good defensive football team if we all buy into the process and the work necessary to be a good defense, and it's a weekly thing.
It all comes down to your preparation. It doesn't matter how many people are there or what the situation is. If you prepare enough, it's going to show on the field.
Saturday will mark the ultimate test of the team's preparation as they take on a red-hot, undefeated IU team. In Muncie, Sam Sherman, NewsLink, Indiana.
That Cardinals and Hoosiers game is set to kick off on Saturday at noon. And while the luck of the Irish may have been the downfall of the Cardinals football team last week, a former Cardinal basketball player will now have it as an advantage. Franny Frazier will be continuing her playing career this fall, signing with the Limerick Celtics in Ireland's Women's National League. Frazier was a key piece of a Ball State women's team that set a school record for best non-conference start last season, winning 11 straight games before dropping their first. The Cardinals made it to the WNIT postseason tournament in each of her 4 years, and Frazier's play was a key part of their success. A steady two-way player, Frazier was second on the team in steals, as well as 5th in scoring in her senior season. She has been quoted saying that after her playing days are over, she would like to coach in order to help give others the opportunities that she's experienced. And getting to play past the collegiate level, you guys, is quite the opportunity, so we're certainly wishing her luck here stateside.
Absolutely. Certainly awesome to see her doing so well, have that opportunity, and you know, Ireland, not a bad place to go play some basketball.
Not bad at all. And there's plenty of talent on that Ball State women's team as well, still on the team, so not really expecting much of a drop-off. I feel like those players will be able to develop pretty well.
It's always nice to see a fellow female get out there and
For sure.
make a name for herself.
Certainly.
And I want to go back to that Ball State IU game. You know, it's a Big Ten opponent. You think we got a good chance?
I think we have a very good shot. Seeing how we played Notre Dame, the 8th ranked team in the country last week, played them within a couple of possessions, and if a couple of plays had gone our way, I feel like we could have come away with that W. They've got a better team than Indiana University, obviously, who's unranked right now, so I feel like if we play our best football, we should be able to come out of there on Saturday with a win.
Fantastic. We'll be pulling for the Cardinals. Well, coming up next, iPhone makes plans to release 3 new devices.
And see how a young lady plans to make her mark on the runway. Next in Trending.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Problems. The ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, we surround a community's most critical problems, and we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
It doesn't take a scientist to cure hunger or a fancy economist to create safe housing. It takes imagination, creativity, sweat equity. And I think of kids going to school hungry. Hunger, homelessness. In this land of plenty, seriously? Come on, we could fix this. Help out, or don't. The choice is yours.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. Time to take a look at what's trending tonight.
Joining us now is NewsLink Indiana's Destiny Johnson. What do you have for us?
Well, hello. For all you iPhone lovers out there, if you haven't heard already, Apple is releasing 3 new versions of their phone: the iPhone XS, XS Max, and the XR. The new phone promises longer battery life, dual SIM card capability, a new dual sensor in the camera that allows you to manually set the depth of field, and much more. Along with the brand new phones, Apple is releasing the iOS 12 update. One feature of this will allow users to monitor their screen time usage and set time limits for apps. You all can soon get this update beginning September 17th. One model's dream came true when she got to walk the runway in New York Fashion Week. Marian Avila is a 21-year-old Spanish model who has Down syndrome. She got to walk in one of the most prestigious fashion shows in New York Fashion Week. She says she wants to show the world that there are no barriers or just one type of beautiful.
I really love that story. That is beautiful. She's getting to fulfill a dream, like you said, and to break down those barriers. It's fantastic.
Remarkable, yes.
And I think I know what I'm asking for Christmas with those new iPhones.
I know, I'm going to have to twist my mom's arm. I'm still on her plan.
Mom, I know you're watching. I'm just throwing some hints there. I know what I'm asking for. Birthday's coming up. Liz, how about one final look at the weather?
Yeah. So what we're currently seeing for Hurricane Florence, this very well-defined eye of rotation starting to batter its way into the Carolinas. Currently a Category 2 hurricane. These outer bands starting to bring in a lot of precipitation. Could even be seeing 20+ inches on the coast for these low-level areas. As this starts to come onto the coast, we will see this start to downgrade as a Category 1 and eventually into a tropical storm. But this definitely will be catastrophic for anyone in these areas. Again, I urge you, if you have any family, friends, property, investments out there, make sure you're taking those protective measures in order for that to be protected as this storm really starts to take place. Over the next 7 days in Indiana, though, we are going to be seeing a beautiful warm and dry trend continue with us. Beautiful football weather Saturday for that Ball State Indiana University game in Bloomington, feeling a little warmer than 83 degrees on the stands. And then precipitation does come back into play Monday and Tuesday, mostly seeing that in the morning. But we'll be talking about all that again.
All right, Liz, thank you so much. And that's going to do it for us tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to watch our midday updates tomorrow at noon on Facebook Live.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com and have a great night.